All right. In this episode, I'm in a place that I haven't been in a long time and actually haven't been at all on this podcast, and that's Ashburn, Virginia, uh, kind of like a hometown to me. And joining me is Vicki Benson with Pearson Smith Realty in Ashburn. Vicki, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great to have you. Ashburn was home for me in high school and college. So my parents lived there for about 8 or 9 years. And then they moved up to New England for my dad's company, had to relocate. So after college, I ended up living in that area for a few more years as well. Fond memories of Ashburn and Northern Virginia and Washington, D.C. in general. I love that area of the country. So
Yeah.
I've been excited to chat with you. How's
Yeah.
everything in Ashburn today?
Everything in Ashburn is wonderful except we woke up to snow.
Oh, yeah.
We don't always have snow, but when we do, it shuts the town down because we're not prepared for it. So schools were shut down and it'll probably be gone by tomorrow or maybe the next day. So it never sticks around too long. So it's kind of to me the perfect place to live. We still get 4 seasons, but I'm
Hmm.
originally from Canada, so I'm done with the snow
Okay.
completely. So if you give me snow for 24, 48 hours, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, same with me. And I'm down in the Charlotte market, and same way. If we get a dusting of snow, it shuts everything down. Schools cancel, business close. You just stay at home. So,
Yeah. Yep.
um, and it doesn't happen very often. So,
It doesn't. It doesn't. December, what are we now? December,
fifth.
yeah, December
Yeah,
5th, and it's our first snowfall of the season. So I'll take it.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're from Canada. I guess I didn't realize that. Where in Canada were you from?
So originally from Montreal, Canada.
Oh,
The
wow,
province of
really?
Quebec, yeah,
Yeah.
and I moved down to the States about, 30 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and, so I've been here ever since.
I spent a weekend in Montreal. Uh, Gosh, back in when was that? 2000, let's see, I guess about 2001, I think 2001. I was
You don't
living in
have to tell us how that went, Jeff. We all know a good time in Montreal. Everyone's had one.
you know why guys from Boston go to Montreal. So
Yeah, yeah, our
beautiful
hockey
city.
rivals. Yeah, you don't have to disclose that. We'll let you, we'll use our imaginations.
Uh, Beautiful city though.
Yes,
So charming. I've never I shouldn't say I've never been to Europe. I was born in Europe, but I don't remember it.
yes.
And but I'm told that it's very like it's got that that that
Europe, it's
old
a
fashioned
European feel.
yeah, European
Yep.
feel to it. Yeah,
It is
definitely.
very multicultural, very historic. I recommend going in the summertime,
Uh-huh.
and if anybody's gonna make a trip of it, you have to, at least for the day, um, maybe if not the weekend, travel to Quebec City. That is also very beautiful.
I've heard that's beautiful. Now I
Yeah.
heard Quebec City is actually they're most like you're more likely to run into somebody that won't speak English. Is that true? Or maybe they just won't, like they all speak English, but they choose whether or not they want to.
It's funny, for my 40th birthday, I think it was, my husband brought me back to the province of Quebec as a tourist. He said, "I
Mhm.
know you grew up there, but let's go as a tourist and stay in hotels and all that stuff." So I found Quebec City, although pretty much everybody that lives there speaks French. I found it more welcoming to tourists from America in Quebec City because I think they're just more used to people going there as tourists
Yeah.
internationally.
Mhm.
So, believe it or not, that was a little bit more welcoming than, let's say, downtown Montreal,
Yeah.
where it's very hustle and bustle, and they don't really care if tourists are there or not. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, a lot of French speaking, but like I said, very multicultural, so very bilingual.
Well, that's a trip down memory lane. Oh, that's a topic for another podcast episode. But
Exactly.
Vicky, what brought you how long have you been practicing real estate?
So I have been licensed for 15 years.
Okay.
And I was just a part-time assistant at a local relocation company. And we would help corporate transferees, interview their realtors in wherever they're leaving and the places that they were moving to. and we would help them select their real estate agents. And my boss kept telling me, "You really should get licensed. You should get licensed." And I finally got my real estate license and started to assist their real estate division and completely fell in love with it. So dove right in about 15 years ago when I got my license and started in real estate sales.
Was that in Northern Virginia?
That was right here, yeah, in Loudoun County. Yeah,
Loudoun
so I
County?
practiced. Yeah, Loudoun County is definitely, um, where I've raised my kids, where I've called home,
Mhm.
for almost 30 years, and it's definitely where I choose to practice, right? We have, neighboring counties like Fairfax County, I'll dabble in absolutely. As you get closer in DC, you get Alexandria, Arlington, and Washington, D.C. And I know a lot of agents are licensed in D.C. and Maryland as well because I'm so close to the border of all of those. But Loudoun County is definitely where I call home and where I choose to practice the most.
I, just adore Loudoun County. I have such fond memories of Loudoun County. I know that it's changed a lot since the '90s, obviously, but I have such fond memories of exploring gravel roads in my
Yeah,
Jeep and,
yeah.
just taking drives out in the country. It was just such a beautiful part of America.
I think that's
Yeah.
what makes it such an incredible place to live is, I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you, but about 30 years ago, we were married. My husband and I were married at a plantation in Leesburg,
Mm.
and a couple of people actually got lost on the way to our way to our wedding because it was really just a dirt road out there. And now 30 years later, we still have the western part of the country, which is very rural, wineries, beautiful for just going out on a Sunday driving, sitting, having some wine at a local winery and just enjoying the scenery. But then Eastern Loudoun is hustle and bustle and subdivisions and great schools and 40 minutes from Washington, D.C. So it really is just the best of everything. We have beautiful little downtown areas. Leesburg is definitely flourishing, downtown Leesburg, with cute little um, restaurants and independent shops, and but the history is still there as well. It's just such a quaint area for people of all types in their life, really. And you probably know that being so close to DC, a lot of people need to commute, and the cost of living. And not that we're affordable out in Loudoun County by any means, but less than Washington, D.C. or Arlington. So you get a lot of people who are coming outwards and just loving a little bit more breathing room, more scenic. It's a really, really great place to live, work, and raise a family.
I 100% agree. I think Loudoun County is just sort of a, um, well, I remember all the great parts of it, so to me, it's always been sort of a utopia. I just love Loudoun County. Now, DC Metro goes all the way out to Ashburn now, right?
It's funny, we just got the Silver Line out to Ashburn, yes. So commuters, that has helped some of the rental properties in that area, but it's
Yeah,
definitely more convenient to travel into DC and even goes right to Dulles Airport as well, right past Dulles Airport. So no more need to drive to the airport if you just want to zoom on the metro.
that's handy. That's
Yes.
handy. So what was it about real estate that drew you in? What was it that you fell in love with?
I really think it's when you're able to sort of educate somebody through such an important process. It's such a daunting task, especially first-time homebuyers, as we know. It's such a daunting task. Where do you even begin? And I think it's super important to have somebody by your side that knows the process the ins and out of the process, but also what could happen, and to be able to educate home buyers and home sellers on all the intricacies of the process, I think is really what keeps me motivated. I'm not an agent that does 100 transactions a year. I don't keep, a body count, let's say, in transactions. To me, um, it's super, super important that at the end of the transaction, the client has felt like they were my only client I was helping at that time, right? They could text me anytime. I know some agents say, no, my phone goes off at 6. It's just not in me. to be that way, I need to know that my clients know I'm always there for them. And as a realtor, you're able to assist people through that transaction and just make them feel really, really confident in their choices and their decision making during such an important sale or purchase. So it's really just those relationships I'm able to develop with my clients and help them through one of the biggest transactions of their life. It's extremely rewarding.
Standing in service of your clients and guiding them and counseling them on throughout the transaction. It sounds like, you have a very service-oriented mindset, and that's something that I find really rewarding in any work that I do is, serving my clients, as best I can and also, developing those relationships as well. It's said all the time on this podcast that it's a relationship business, but I think any industry, where or I would say any business really is a relationship business, but any industry where it's such a high ticket, high trust, important, step, financial decision, transaction that, it just relationships just become more and more important. I can see why, real estate, it's so important in real estate to have such, to nurture those relationships and develop those relationships. Do you,
Absolutely.
did you have a hospitality background at all? Were you ever a server or anything like that?
No, I've always been in the service industry though, even, starting off in retail
Hmm.
very early in the day.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good example.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
in retail for many, many years and always gravitated, always ended up to be like the director of customer service or customer
Hmm.
service manager. It was always just, I want to be able to get people what they want.
Yeah.
And, no matter what it takes, and more so for other people than myself, I think is more rewarding. It's an odd personality trait, and I have to say this, that is a personality trait. That is my color code. I'm a people pleaser. It's what makes me happy. And clients that need a realtor like that will gravitate to me and will refer people to me and come back to me as repeat clients. Not everybody is like that. And that's something that I think, other agents should know as well. There was a time being there where I was a real estate mentor because our brokerage partners knew agents up with a mentor, so that they know what they're doing on their first few transactions. And it was really one of the best things I've ever done, being partnered up with brand new agents. And I can tell you this, every single new agent had a different personality. Color code, had a different motivation, had different strengths, had different areas of opportunity. Not all were warm and fuzzy and let me hold your hand and let me make you, text me at 9 p.m. Not all agents are like that. And that is okay. There's enough business for all of us. And I think that's super important for agents to realize is no matter what your strengths are, you can build a real estate career around this. There are going to be buyers and sellers that match with your skills, with your personality. Um, and so I think jumping ahead, that's one thing I would tell newer agents is never look at other agents that may be successful and say, oh, I can't do this. I'm nothing like them. There are clients out there who don't want to work with somebody that has my type of personality, that doesn't necessarily want the hand holding, that doesn't want the warm and fuzzy. They want somebody transactional. They want somebody, who is a little bit quicker, maybe a lower commission. Um, and so I think that's super, super important for all agents to realize is no matter what your personality, there's a business to be had in real estate.
Yeah, investor clients are one
Yeah.
example that come to mind, right?
Yeah. Oh,
That
for sure. If I get anybody asking me about investments, I absolutely refer them out. And I have no shame in admitting that. It's just not my forte. It's
Mhm.
not one of my pillars. And I personally know some colleagues that are awesome at it. They have internal networks that this is the type of business they do all the time. So it only makes me look good if I refer them to somebody who can effectively service them, and get them what they're looking for. So yeah, I absolutely focus on the type of business that feeds me, um, and that I'm good at. So absolutely.
Speaking of retail and hospitality, I think I told you when we spoke a few weeks back to plan this recording that my job in high school, my summer job, and my and in college when I would come home, and for a couple years after college was in and around the Lansdowne Resort. So started out in high school as a greenskeeper in the summertime,
Oh my
and
goodness.
so I was the guy cutting the greens and the fairways and then ended up in after college. I came back, worked in the front of the house, guest services, and then ended up in the golf department for a little while before I switched career trajectories and got into technology. But had a lot of fond memories, and it's always been just part of me to just want to, you mentioned that you just want your clients to get everything that they want.
Hmm.
And that's always been so rewarding to me that, to be able to just, help people get what they want. And, so throughout my, um, whether it was, helping people with their tea times or, helping people check into the hotel or if it was even retail sales, right? Selling clubs and gear in the golf
Yeah.
shop. I always, just really enjoyed and found it rewarding to, just be of service to other
Yeah.
people. So,
A little, I don't know if it's off topic, but maybe it's our generation. I don't know if you remember when I was started working in retail, the goal was to always say yes.
mhm.
The goal was to always give the customer what they wanted. I remember one retailer I worked with, oh my goodness, they would just take anything back as refunds. I won't even mention some of the things that they were able to get refunded on. But the goal was to always the customer first, right? And I'm seeing a change. I don't know if you are. I'm seeing a change now where it's almost as though people are looking for the opportunity to say no as quickly as possible, even before, they know exactly what the person is looking for. It's almost as though they'll go out of their way to look for reasons to say no. Maybe it's a generational thing, but I instinctively want to be able to say yes. When
Almost to a
somebody
fault, right?
instinctive, oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
almost to a fault. And you can't always give, obviously our clients aren't always going to get exactly what they want, but if I can squeeze out as much as the opposite side is willing to give,
Hmm.
that's what I'm aiming for, right? So it may be a generational thing, but it is what it is. If I have a client come to me and say they want that for X and on this date, by golly, I'm going to do whatever I can to get that for them.
Yeah, I think, generational might be part of it, definitely.
Yeah.
I can relate to the, uh, being agreeable and saying yes, probably more often than I should, I err on the side of being agreeable rather
Yeah.
than, and a lot of, it's gotten me stuck in a few times, but it's just in my nature,
I
to
know.
want
I
to
know.
when somebody wants something, I wanna make sure they get it,
Yeah,
so
and never, after 15 years, never overpromise, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Um, Better to, underpromise and overdeliver, so
Absolutely,
that's
yeah.
how I approach
And
things.
some of us have to learn that the hard way. So, but we learn. That's the important thing.
Absolutely.
What are some in the 15 years that you've been practicing, what are some of the, like, systems or tools or marketing strategies that you employ? What are, like, some keys to the growth of your business?
So listen, I'm old school. I think the MLS itself is probably my favorite and most used tool. Right from the horse's mouth, I know that there are systems that do CMAs for us, and um, I still use the good old Bright MLS. And when I say use the Bright MLS, we all know, and I'm going to jump ahead again, we all know how important our database is and sort of maintaining that contact with our database. And um, just overall in running my business, I lead with service, right? I never want to lead with asking for something, right? I constantly want to lead with what can I do for you? What can I do for you? What information can I provide to you? What tools can I provide to you? I want to organically become that person that they come to for any and all real estate needs, or to feel that they can refer me. So when I say the MLS, a lot of times, um, I'm constantly putting myself on these automated searches, right, in the neighborhoods where I've sold. And it kind of gives me a reason to sort of touch base with past clients and say, oh my gosh, I just noticed your neighbor's house went for this much. Um, I ran a CMA. Take a look at the pictures and let's compare it to your house. How's little Billy doing?
Mhm.
I just find that the MLS is probably one of the best sources of information that can help us sort of um, retain a reason to stay in touch with our past clients. And that's the type of information that they're looking for from us. So I just think that for me, old school, it's just the best and most accurate information out there. And it's just so easy to set ourselves up on an automated search, and it sort of triggers, oh my gosh, that's where I sold, John and
Mhm.
Melissa's house. I can touch base with them and see how they're doing. So honestly, I know it's not fancy. No, I know it's not on trend, but the bright MLS, if you use it properly, or your local MLS, if
Mhm.
you use it properly and you're really integrated in there and sort of set yourself up, it's a really, really great way to stay in front of your clients.
I'm glad that you also brought up, how your database and how important it is to nurture our database. Um, what are is the bulk of your business repeat and referral?
Yeah, the bulk of my business is most like for this year, um, I think I'm on track to do about it's gonna be 12, probably about 12 million. And the bulk of that is referral,
Mhm.
as well as local builders, believe it or not. So many years ago, I began doing listing services for new builders in our area. And so I enter their listings into the MLS for the builders when they have either base models or spec homes available. So that's been a portion of my business this year as well, going back to always leading with service, right? I know a lot of people come to me and they say, "Oh, I see that you have a lot of new construction listings. How do you do that?" It's just maintaining relationships. It's staying um, top of mind. It's going to the builder and saying, "Can I run a CMA for you? Hey, did you know about your competitor's neighborhood? I ran the comps. This is where you guys compare." It's sort of always just stopping by the model and saying hi, and um, always lead with service. How can I help you? What is it that you're looking for? Are you curious as to what the area resales are doing? So leading with service, and to answer your question, yes. So all but I think two, well, even those two that came from out of the area were from past clients that had referred me. So the majority of business that I do is sort of um, either repeat or referrals from past clients, which is very rewarding, very rewarding.
Absolutely. Yeah, and, repeat business is always, very reassuring, right? That
Yeah,
we're doing the right thing and
yeah,
we're taking care of our clients the right way, and so are referrals because referral, by nature is or by definition, is a transfer of trust from
right.
that previous client to, someone who trusts them, so,
Exactly,
um I
exactly.
love that. The part about the builder relationship, I would definitely perked up when you brought up that topic because that's right. That's something that I don't think enough, agents try to develop. And as you know, I'm assuming this is something that started a relationship that started years ago, right? And it
Yes.
probably didn't start with listing transactions. You said, you always lead with service. So bringing that value right away, helping, how can I help you?
Yeah.
What can I do for you? And then being also proactive and, uh, you know, running those comparables, on, competitive neighborhoods in the same
Yeah.
town or, across town, so,
Yeah,
uh,
be of
love that.
service, always bring value,
Mhm,
um, always put yourself in the other person's shoes, right? Um, it can be challenging working with builders sometimes, as I'm sure a lot of realtors will attest, and you have to sort of see it from the builder's side, right? They have their own challenges, they have their own objectives, their own sales goals, and sometimes realtors get in the way of those. So there's always a flip side to every coin. But I tell agents if you definitely want to develop relationships with builders for whatever reason, right? So sometimes I will get a builder say, "Hey, I have a spec home that's not selling, will you list it and hold open houses and all that good stuff." So, if you are a realtor and you are looking for those type of relationships, then I implore you to lead with service. Not
mhm.
every good deed is going to result in a listing. Like you can't think that way, right? If you really want to develop relationships, what can you do for them? And just stay top of mind, stay in front of them, and when they do have a need, chances are they'll come to you, you know. But it's a long game. And I think a lot of realtors want, it's the long game. It's staying consistent and it's staying genuine. Stay genuine.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely a long game. And I think a lot of realtors fail, leave the industry, leave the business because they don't have that patience and that understanding that it may be 18 to 24 months before you receive your first paycheck
Yeah,
outside of friends and family, right?
yeah,
Listing Uncle Bob's house or something like that. But um, and then your business, if you do the right thing, if you follow the same system and process, a good system, a good
yeah,
business plan and process week in and week out, that it compounds like interest over time. And in 5, 10, 15 years, then you have a profitable business that is helping you make your family's dreams come true as well.
exactly, exactly,
I think it was Zig Ziglar that said, you can achieve anything you want in life if you help enough other people achieve what they want.
exactly.
And I think I may have paraphrased that a little bit, but yeah, that you get what I'm saying.
It's absolutely so true. Just don't go into every interaction with, "What am I getting out of this?" Because people can smell that. It's not genuine, and, people get the ick. They don't want to
Mhm.
work with somebody who's constantly taking, taking, taking. So, lead with service. What can you do for others? And, be informative, bring value, and people will come to you.
What about networking? Maintaining that relationship with the builder is sort of a form of networking.
Yeah.
Are there any other way would you consider networking pretty important to the success of a real estate agent's career, and what are some other the other ways that you may be, networking?
Yeah, it's funny because when you say networking, I know one of what we all think of these happy hours and all this stuff.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
first thing that pops into mind when you say networking and whether or not it's something of value in this area in Loudoun County, the real estate market is super, super competitive um, within certain price ranges, meaning if you have a first time home buyer, chances are the home that they're going to be putting an offer on probably has multiple offers. So when you say networking and you ask, is that important? I cannot tell you how important relationships are. Real estate is even though we have thousands and thousands of agents, real estate is a very small community. And when you've been
Mhm.
doing it for a long time, you know which agents know what they're doing and you know which agents can be trusted. So when you say networking, I immediately think it is so, so valuable the relationships that we have amongst the real estate community. And I am hopeful that all of my colleagues and the realtors that I've worked with in past transactions really know that I am a realtor that they want to be on the opposite side of the table with because I know what I'm doing. I understand the contract. I understand the process from start to finish. And I've built those relationships where I have a lot of realtors that we just enjoy working with each other. So, real estate is a relationship business, and having those relationships with other agents and builders is just um, it's invaluable. It's something that you need if you wanna be in the business long term, for sure.
I totally agree. All things being equal, people wanna do business with people that they like,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
People that they
They
know,
know,
they
like,
like,
and
they
trust.
trust,
Yep,
right? So,
yep.
getting to know, networking, with your colleagues who may finger quote be competitors in your market, I've come to find to be very rewarding,
Yes.
very a very positive experience. I
Yep.
actually organize here locally in the Lake Norman area a monthly real estate mastermind luncheon, and what I have a mortgage broker and insurance agent that helps me pick up the tab, and we get about 25 or so local, mostly in the luxury space, but very highly successful agents who have been in doing great work in the area with great reputations for a long time, and I get them all in the same room. And I wasn't sure if it was going to work. We're going on our fourth month now, and
Wow.
the response when we began in September was so positive, so overwhelmingly positive, that it actually really surprised me because I wasn't sure if it would work locally. I know that like groups of 20, let's say a Sotheby's agent here in Charlotte might jump on a call once a month with 20 other agents, Sotheby's agents in other markets around the country, and
Yeah,
they'll
of
exchange
course.
ideas, share knowledge.
Yep.
So I wasn't really sure if that would work locally, and so far it really has. It's been overwhelmingly positive. And at the end of the November luncheon, I must have been asked the question, "When are we doing it again?" Like 20 times.
That's
Um,
fantastic. So it's
yeah.
agents from different brokerages, or
Yeah, different brokerages.
and
Yeah.
you typically, have a topic that you go over?
Yeah, we'll usually have a topic. So, the way that it's not super well organized, mainly because I'm the one organizing it. So I haven't quite dialed in the agenda for each one, but I'll give
Realtors
November.
don't follow a script anyway. You
Yeah,
gotta
no,
know.
no, that's for sure. Yeah, it's like herding cats. So, I'll give you November's luncheon as an example. Yeah, it begins at 11:30 here at the Peninsula Yacht Club here on Lake Norman, which is
Nice,
a wonderful venue. I love them over
nice.
there. And um, uh, usually for about the first 30 minutes, folks are just talking, talking,
Yes.
talking, mingling, talking, catching up. And then, I'll have to ring a little bell and say, hey, if you plan on eating, fix your plate because we're going to get going here. So, uh, then they'll get comfortable, they'll have their lunch, and while they're doing that, we'll usually have someone speaking on a topic. We had, uh, a local, super highly successful, gentleman here locally whose wife happens to be a real estate attorney, but he's a video marketing expert, and he
Nice.
helps, his clients are, um he's kind of still in that high ticket, high trust space. He works with law firms and that sort of thing on implementing video in their marketing, and so that was something that the realtors really in the room really they got a lot of value out of hearing how tips on leveling up their short form content on
Love that.
Instagram and and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
but also how to leverage YouTube. I think YouTube is something that's underutilized
Yeah.
by real estate
Yeah.
agents.
Uh,
So
uh, I'm gonna tell you this. A couple of years ago, I said, "You know what? I'm gonna do YouTube." And I think I posted just a few, walkthrough videos, right,
mhm.
of new construction, um, models and spec homes. And do you know, within a few months, I got somebody that reached out to me from out of state. Just we saw that it seems like you know a lot about this new construction community from like one video that they watched. I was So should I be investing more time? Yes, yes. But again, there goes the time management and
Hmm.
consistency that it takes, and other things just tend to get in the way. But yeah, I should absolutely be doing more YouTube videos.
Well, it's challenging. I mean, especially a lot of us wear all the hats, right? So yeah, it's we have to kind of prioritize and our activities throughout the week, and marketing's one of those things. I mean, I'm biased because I am a marketing agency, and marketing's one of those hats that can consume a lot of time. So
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I that's totally understandable, but that's really cool to hear that, after a short amount of time with just some, and really I'm guessing, I haven't seen the video. My videos that I do here locally, it's just me and
Yeah,
I use a GoPro, but you can use a
yeah.
phone and,
Yeah, I
pretty
used my
casual.
phone and I reached out to somebody on Fiverr, an
Mhm.
editor. I think they
Yeah.
charged me $50 to, finish it up
Yeah.
and edit it. And
Mhm.
I think the problem is me and a lot of agents. It doesn't, I'm sure you've heard this. Done is better than perfect. And we're
Yes.
so intent, like a property video when I have a listing, it's got to be better than perfect, right? Cinematography at its finest. But when you're doing just a walkthrough, don't spend days editing it, right? Spend $50, get somebody to edit it, just put it up and start getting the views. I feel like a fraud sort of saying that because obviously I haven't remained consistent with it, but if somebody really takes that and runs with it, it's definitely going to gain traction. Like you said, especially YouTube. There aren't enough people really staying consistent with that.
I agree too that I think most of us we strive for that perfection. We want it to look so sophisticated and elegant and
Yeah.
professionally produced. But in reality, yeah, in reality, I think, again, published is better than perfect.
Yeah.
I say it all the time, don't let perfect get in the way of good. And and truly it's uh your prospective clients don't necessarily want to see polished and sophisticated, professionally produced videos. They Authenticity has its place, and I think that's one of those places where it can be pretty valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really critical for people to see our true selves, I think, online.
Vicky, I before I let you go, and you've already touched on this a few times, but any other advice that you might have for those who are kind of early in their journey? We talked a little bit about how how important patience is and being consistent and having a plan and working the plan consistently week after week after week.
Yeah.
It takes a lot
Yeah.
of time. The more valuable the transaction, the more valuable the relationship, the longer it takes. In real estate,
Yes.
it doesn't
Yeah.
get much more valuable. So,
Yeah.
um,
I
what
have a
what would be
lot of
some of your
pieces
advice?
I have a lot of pieces of advice for brand new agents. If I'm just going to pick, and I've touched on most of them, but get out from behind your computer. When you're brand new, you have to get in front of people face to face. Whether that is, if you're brand new, shadow open houses. There are agents out there that are amazing at them. And again, you're not going to do two or three and get like $1 million listing. Stay at it. Do a open house a weekend. Bring valuable information. Be ready with the comps to answer questions intelligently. There are agents who have a very strong pillar in their business that get leads off of open houses. So get out, hit the pavement. Um, I think honestly, if you're going to narrow down the biggest piece of advice that I have is it's all about your database. You are going to be bombarded with programs to buy, systems to buy. Um, it's literally an Excel spreadsheet. Yes, you can as you start making money, then you can start spending money on improving your systems, automating your systems, getting support, whatever. But day one, it could be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. I don't care how many deals an agent is doing every year, how many multiple millions of dollars they're earning. Their business is based on their database. It's as simple as that. Those who consistently touch their database, that are organic about it, authentic, and bring value to those touches, those who remain consistent in touching the people in their database are the successful agents, point blank. And all it takes is consistency. So if that's the number one piece of advice, work your database. Set aside time every day. Listen, when I started, I'm not a social butterfly. I wasn't the head of the PTA. I'm not the president of the HOA. Like, I'm very much in jeopardy of being a secret agent. Because I have a little bit of social anxiety, if you can't tell on this podcast. So my database was very small, like 20 people, and half were family. So, it has taken me a long time to develop a larger database. So most people would start with a larger database. And I'm telling you, new agents, please, I promise you, if you look at multi-million dollar agents, they have found a way to touch their database on a regular, consistent basis. That's the key. That is the key.
1,000% agree with you there. I think that that's really, really solid advice. I don't know of any successful real estate agent that hasn't achieved that success based on the way that they take care of their database, the way they
Yes,
nurture their database, and the way they have systems and processes in place to
yes,
consistently touch uh, past clients, friends, colleagues,
yes.
their network. And
And
yeah, I think that's
when
amazing.
I say get out, open houses, sit at the office, shadow agents. Why?
Mhm.
Because you'll ultimately add people to your database and your numbers will grow. It's a numbers game. So get out from behind your desk, find people to add to your database, make those connections, and keep touching your database on a consistent basis. That's the key. If you don't get distracted from doing that, your business will grow.
Find that open house ninja in your office and
We have
shadow
one.
them, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Every
we have
office
one.
has one, right?
Oh my goodness. Every office has one. And it's, you know, just when you get started, you may learn after a while that, you're not great at converting. Um,
Mhm.
but it's just getting out in front of people, and some will stick. Some leads will stick for sure. You will connect with somebody coming through that door. You will connect with them. Your personalities, they'll be sort of attracted to you and choose you. They'll choose you. So get out there and build your database.
Build your database.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not to mention all the practice, all that valuable practice you'll get by fielding
Yeah.
those questions, from prospects and visitors at open houses and shadowing other agents to see how they handle those questions and
Right.
objections and so
Right.
forth. It's just such valuable experience to be
Yeah.
gained.
So true.
Vicki, I think you did amazing on this podcast. I hope you had fun.
I had
I
a
hope you enjoyed it.
fantastic time. I hope I brought value. If I didn't, delete.
You did. You did. Trust me, you did. Before I let you go, I got to ask you, is the Ashburn pub still there?
It's the Ashford pub. It is. I don't
Yeah.
frequent it. I'll be honest. I don't
Yeah.
frequent it.
Yeah.
I have some other sidebar in Leesburg is a personal favorite
Oh,
of
nice.
mine.
Yeah.
Sidebar. Yeah. Downtown Leesburg is super, super cute. Let me know the next time you're out in Loudon.
I will. Yeah.
King Street. I'll meet you on King Street.
That sounds good. Yeah, we have a sidebar here in Davidson, North Carolina, which is it's also just adorable. And downtown Davidson reminds me a lot of what I remember downtown Leesburg. Just
Oh,
just a beautiful little downtown. So,
that's awesome.
yeah, That sounds amazing. Yeah, I don't think you're missing anything. From what I remember of Ashburn Pub, I don't think you're missing anything. So,
Good, good.
yeah, probably good idea to stay away. So, Vicki, for listeners who want to learn more about you and other
Yeah,
realtors who might be listening to this and may have folks who are moving to the Northern Virginia area,
yeah.
how can they learn more about you and connect?
So look up Vicky Sells Nova as in Northern Virginia, Vicky Sells Nova on Instagram and Facebook, and VickiBenson.com is my website. You'll find all my contact deets there. But would love to talk to anybody interested in moving to or from the Loudoun County area.
I'll have those links, of course, in the description for this episode. And
Thank you.
I've got to tag you on social media, of course, Vicki as well. Vicki Benson, Pearson Smith Realty, Ashburn, Virginia, serving Loudoun County in Northern
Yes,
Virginia, and always leading with value and service.
absolutely.
Vicki, thanks so
Absolutely.
much
It's
for
been a
joining the
pleasure.
podcast. Thank you.